This is KUGAN CASSIUS for iPhone TV in association with MTK Global. Excuse the mic check in the background.
1 2 1 2. It's good to see you, old boy.
How are you?
You've
Alright?
lost so much weight.
I'm trying.
But you know where you've done it quite gradually. I haven't really noticed. And then you put that video up the other day about with you and Naz. And
That was a long time ago though.
that
Was
bad, wasn't it?
Brooke
It's
Hatton.
only really when you realise the size of you, like when you look back. You know what I mean?
Are we talking about me or you?
Well, no. I used to be bigger than I am now. I look back now and think, I used to think I was so cool. Like that's when I was going out and I was just in terrible nick. Not in the best nick now, but don't worry, we're working on it.
Give us a weight check.
It's not good, mate. It's around 18 stone, to be honest with you. It's got to come down. We've got to lose a quick stone. It's my old man's 70th birthday next week. So I would like to sort of...
Because those pictures all last forever.
They will.
You know.
As the ones of you with Naz. You can find them on Google.
We're in Newcastle today.
Yes.
We'll come on to Newcastle in a little bit. Let's run through some other stuff first of all. Right, update on this Joshua Wilder situation. He put a video and tweet and stuff out the other day saying that he's going to accept the offer. You said you're going to send a contract.
Yeah.
What's happened?
Since then, we're just drafting a contract, which they should get today, tomorrow at the latest. We made an offer about 4 weeks ago. We improved the offer from our first one. And yeah, on Monday, they emailed us and said, we accept the terms, now we want to see a contract.
This is always how it should have been in the first place, shouldn't it?
What's that?
Well, you sort of accept the terms and
But
then...
you asked for a we wanted to know the terms before we accepted the terms.
Right.
And we don't know whether he accepts our terms. All we know is that he accepts our financial offer. So
Right.
God knows what's going to happen when we send him the full terms. They're not going to be difficult. They're not going to be unusual. But who knows?
But the main sticking point is the financial terms, surely, isn't it? After that, everything can be kind of worked
I
on.
think so. You'd hope so. I mean, they requested a contract on Monday. So we requested a contract after the first offer, but they refused to send one. So everything's good, really. I mean, we wanted to do the event in September, but Josh wants the box in September, or wanted to. Still wants to, but may not. And our original offer was based on a September fight. Obviously, last night you got Canelo Golovkin announced, and it's only, I think, 10 or 11 weeks till September 15th. So, because of how long they've taken to come back, September's out really anyway. It doesn't work for US TV, doesn't work in a build-up sense either. So, we're looking now, if we do Wilder, for more like October, November. But originally, well, Josh wants to do this fight at Wembley, we all do. But obviously we can't do the fight in Wembley if it's not in September. So now we're looking at Cardiff for potentially October, November. Now we've got to go back to them, go through the dates, etc., speak to US TV again. And, you know, that's one of the things. I mean, this is a perfect coup for TYSON to nail this fight. And we'll talk to them, obviously. We'll talk to other American broadcasters as well. But I expect to have a contract ready for them today, maybe, but certainly by the end of tomorrow.
Is this a view to a two-fight deal?
No. There's rematch provisions in there, but we don't. If Wilder becomes the A side, we have no problem going to America. But Josh just felt that this fight should take place in the UK, as we all did. And actually, when we look at the numbers, with a big American TV partner, it is less than the $50 million offer, but potentially not that much less. So I'm glad we've worked it all out. I'm glad we've done our maths. I'm glad we've taken our time, and I'm glad that the fight will happen in the UK when it does. We are under pressure time-wise, so I'm hoping they come back in good time on the contract, because if they're going to mess around and it's not going to get done, or there's any chance it might not get done, we'll jump in and fight Povetkin in September, because we have to fight him at some point. It's a very good fight, it's a very tough fight, it's a very credible fight, and we can continue to do Wilder stuff. We can sign for Wilder now, for even if it's not October, November, we can sign in December or for February, no problem. But I'm not going to wait, get to sort of July and then August, and then all of a sudden we've still got no fight scheduled. So after probably about 2 weeks of no reply from our offer, we started making plans to fight Povetkin in September, and we've pretty much got a deal with Povetkin to fight in September. I spoke to them this morning, and obviously they want to know, the WBA want to know, and we're under time pressure. And we've been under time pressure for the last couple of weeks. So we've got to get moving, and hopefully they review the contract over the weekend, and we see where we are. What they come back with initially will tell me straight away how likely we are to move quickly to make this as the next fight.
So the situation with Povetkin's people, have you just told them basically just hold
I told
tight?
them the truth. I just said, look, Josh wants to fight. I spoke to Josh at length. He likes the Povetkin fight because he's a very good fighter. He's only been beaten once by Klitschko on points. He loves the Wilder fight, obviously, because he wants to be the undisputed champion, wants to be the best. But he also wants to get going. He's just started training, and he wants some news, probably the same as Wilder. And his ethos is, let's fight Wilder, but if this is going to stall, let's just go straight with Povetkin, and then we'll fight Wilder immediately after. So, as I said from the start, the way I see it at the moment is the Wilder fight is 100% happening, and the max you probably have to wait is 7-8 months. But hopefully, and possibly, you might have to wait 3 or 4 months. But I'm almost certain this gets signed. It's just a case of when and how quickly.
How much more significant financially was your improved offer on the original?
I'm not really going to go into the offer. It was a decent improvement. I think it's a fair deal. I mean,
but something you thought that would perk their ears
I thought the first
to come
one
back
would
to you.
perk their ears.
Yeah.
And I think it probably did, but they didn't really want to. It's just the whole thing's been really weird. Like, I don't really understand the social media stuff. And listen, someone tweeted me the other day saying I'm the king of social media, but I don't. It's something don't smell right in the sense that everything. Like, they sent an email to say we accept the offer, then they come out on social media, start doing all the videos. I wouldn't, as much as I've got a massive trap, and I love putting things out on social media. If I was really desperately trying to make a fight, I really wouldn't be doing what they're doing. Maybe that's just their style, but I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, the proof will be in the pudding when we send a contract and see what happens from there.
Is it a pressure tactic, kind of to send that and then let everyone know what's going on for everyone to kind of get on to you?
It's either a pressure tactic or it's a tactic to get some exposure and to try and raise his profile.
Both.
I mean, look, listen, the last 3 months, Deontay Wilder has been doing a great job in raising his profile by fancying Joshua's name. Let's have it right. And I don't blame him for that. I'd do exactly the same thing. But his whole profile over the last few months has just been talking about AJ in this fight. And it's worked, I think. And I think, he's probably trying to put pressure on. He's probably trying to raise his profile a little bit. It's just a bit, I don't know, the whole way it's played out seemed a little bit weird. But listen, if they accept the offer, they've got to fight.
I know we always talk about deadlines and that, but you surely giving yourself a timescale on this.
Listen, to be honest with you, I thought the fight was dead because they never came back to us. And a lot of people are saying, particularly in the US media, that the only reason they've accepted this deal is because they thought that we'd signed the Povetkin deal. So we hadn't. And now we'll see. Don't get me wrong, we're extremely close with dates and everything for Povetkin. But I don't know. I mean, they took 4 weeks nearly to come back, so we shall see.
You said, obviously, if it's going to play into October, November, Cardiff is your
only option.
It's your only option. There's no other option anywhere else.
Option.
Yeah.
And listen, we like Cardiff.
Yeah, of course.
But we always felt that this fight was a Wembley fight. And Josh, after the Klitschko fight, he wants to box at Wembley again badly. So we'll see.
Okay, but no option for Wembley in later months.
Only September.
Yeah.
Which this fight can't happen in September.
Okay. Right, you announced some of the fights that will feature on your July 28th card.
Some of them, yeah.
Some of them. Mm-hmm. The reaction, how it's gone down. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, good. I mean, you've got. It astonishes me how people get wound up about pay-per-view. It's like, and they wind themselves up so badly, and I look at some people And sometimes someone will say something about pay-per-view. Sometimes I'll just click on their profile and just look at, might even look at their profile picture, or might even go into their tweets or their pictures and look at them, and someone might have a little Louis Vuitton belt on, or little Stone Island jacket, and this thing about this £19.95 pay-per-view is driving you so crazy. Like, don't worry about it. You don't have to buy it. Sometimes I think people get into their mind that I'm reaching into their pocket and taking 20 quid out of their pocket. I'm not. If you don't want to buy it,
subconsciously, some people might look at that.
Yeah, but if we were film producers and we released a film, right, and I put it on Sky, on the on-demand section or whatever it is, and it's 16 quid or whatever it is. You ain't got to buy the film. If you don't want to watch the film, you don't buy it. So don't worry about it. Is this fight worth the money for a Saturday night's entertainment? I believe so. If you don't beat yourself up. Just don't watch it. But we've had this debate for years and years. I mean, our pay-per-view numbers continue to soar like never before. Okay? And you look at the figures from Joshua Parker, from Hayden Bellew, from Joshua Takam, from Brooke Golovkin, even for Brooke Spence. Going back to Bellew Cleverly, which was a disaster fight, really. So this is just something, and you know what? If you really can't hack it and stomach it in your mind, just know one thing: Dillian Whyte and Joseph Parker will make a nice few quid. Life-changing money. Actually, Parker's all right anyway, because he's just made his. But for Dillian Whyte, and I think there's a lot of people out there that like Dillian Whyte. Okay? So, if it gets really bad in your mind and you really can't handle it, just remember Dillian Whyte's getting a nice few quid for this fight. And let me tell you, he deserves every single penny, because this fight is a career-defining fight for Dillian Whyte. He is putting everything on the line in terms of his ranking, in terms of his position, in terms of the Joshua fight, in terms of the Wilder fight. So, I'm not letting him take this fight for a couple of $100,000. I want Dillian Whyte making 7 figures from this fight, okay? And the way I do that is to put it on pay-per-view. And I'll take the stick, I don't care.
Yeah, but if White's making 7 figures, so are you.
I'm not, nowhere near. You know the model.
No,
we make
that was a joke.
We make tiny money out of this pay-per-view. It's not, but this is the way we're going to do it. So, I'm sorry, but the model doesn't allow Dillian Whyte to get paid that kind of money on a standard rights fee. And that the fan might say, well, don't do the fight then. You may have a point, but no. I decided the other way. And listen, mate, the buck stops with me. You can blame Dillian Whyte, you can blame Sky, you blame me. I'm fine with that. Because I promise you get value for money. And if you don't...
Do you know what you've always said, that the fights on pay-per-view cannot happen?
Correct. This can't happen. Because Dillian Whyte isn't going to take $300,000 or $400,000 to fight Joseph Parker. And Joseph Parker ain't. So how can this fight happen without... You tell me.
But you're the numbers man.
But the only answer is that they have to take less money. Then they don't do it. I want to give Dillian Whyte a payday. He deserves it. He's beaten everyone I've asked him to. Okay? So this is his night. This is his moment. This is his chance to headline a box office event. Good luck to you.
Let's talk about what you announced yesterday. A little bit of criticism over Kell Brook's opponent, Brandon Cook.
Again, that's another one where the people that are got this thing in them now just jump on everything. Kell Brook's coming back from the Errol Spence defeat, the Golovkin defeat. He beat Rabchenko, good result. He did a round, right? So now he's fighting a guy that's top 10 in 3 governing bodies. Okay? He's number 4 in the WBO. He's number 7 in the WBA. He's 10 in the IBF. This fight puts Kell in the top 5 of every governing body. It's fine. And listening to the kid, I had an interview with him this morning. He'll come and have a real go. It's not Jarrett Hurd. It's not Charlo. It's the chief support on the Whyte-Parker card, right? I say it's chief sport. No, it is chief sport. But this other fight that we're hopefully making today is another brilliant fight, which will be added. We've got 3 more fights to add and one really, really good 50-50 fight, hopefully. So just trying to close that at the moment. You've got Katie Taylor defending her 2 world titles. You've got Conor Benn rematching Payne, which is a great fight. So it's one of the fights of the year in 2017. You've got Joshua Buatsi, massive step up for him against Ricky Summers. Went points with Buglione, he's had 2 good wins since. Yeah, about 3 or 4 more fights to add as well. So, yeah, I mean, again, I'm done with justifying. You either want to watch it and buy it, or you don't. Again, what you're doing is you're making sure that this fighter that is putting everything on the line, and this is his entire career at world level on the line in this fight, and you're making sure he's getting the right money. So what the simplest way I can put it. And it's not a case of you're just taking. I'm not making money on this show. Don't get me wrong, I'll be okay, but not like peanuts in comparison to what we make on other shows. This is what we have to do to get this fight. I can't get the fights that I want for Dillian without this model.
You know, when before you've kind of Joshua's been in with a slightly lesser opponent, shall we say, and then we've seen a stronger undercard as opposed to him fighting the likes of Klitschko or Parker, etc. So I think people accept that.
Well, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, no, but I think people accept that Joshua is, regardless of whatever, for a while, but he's a pay-per-view.
Joshua is, listen, although it won't happen, Joshua is pay-per-view against
me and you.
Yeah, right. That's same as Floyd Mayweather. That's what happens.
People accept
that. They won't
yeah.
fight. I mean, not being funny, Povetkin is one fucking horrible, tough fight for Anthony Joshua, by the way. And if you look at Anthony Joshua's stats, who he's fought and beaten since he won the world title off Charles Martin, even before that, Dillian Whyte, Molina, I don't really class as a tough defence. Brazil, I do. You know, especially back then, in what, 16th, 17th fight? Takam is widely ranked in the top 10. Klitschko, Parker, Povetkin or Wilder. So it's going to be Wilder Povetkin or Povetkin Wilder, mate. He's had 21 fights. So, but this is what boxing fans do. They're very animated, and thank God, because without that, there wouldn't be the talk that it is. And people are talking about everything in boxing now. Now, people stop me all the time. Oh, I watched all your stuff with that geezer, that prick, what's his name? And they're talking about you. And like, so everyone's talking, and it's good. We need that. So good, bad, debate. Is it pay-per-view? Yes, no, great, keep it coming. But I can't tell you enough. Don't get yourself beat up about it. It's something we have to do. I believe you're going to get value for money. If you don't believe me or you don't think you are, don't buy it.
All right, listen, we need to run through a couple of things before this press conference start. DAZN.
Yes.
US deal. Who are you talking to at the moment?
Everybody.
Have you signed anyone?
Yes.
Who have you signed?
I can't tell you.
Have you signed Dimitri Bivol?
No. I mean, look, we work with World of Boxing. They're our partners. So Bivol's going to box on August the 4th on HBO, and then we'll see what happens. Our launch event will be, looks like, I think the 4th of July, something like that, in New York. There's a major announcement tomorrow for DAZN, where boxing fans in US are just going to be even happier. More content. It's not in relation to signing, but more content coming for DAZN tomorrow.
What's the situation with Bivol and Callum Johnson?
Beterbiev.
Ah.
Yeah.
Beterbiev,
so
I mean,
Beterbiev
sorry.
is fighting Callum Johnson.
Sorry.
So we're talking to Yvonne Michelle about that fight, trying to do a deal, and we'll see what happens with that. We're talking to world champions, we're talking to unified world champions, we're talking to pound for pound top 10s, we're talking to Olympic hopefuls, national champions, undefeated prospects.
What's happening with Garcia?
Garcia boxes July 23rd, and then we hope to get him on a show in November.
Okay. But no one's... Are any of these fighters we're talking about currently signed to you, as in Matchroom USA?
Yes, we've signed a number of fighters already.
But you're waiting until the launch to announce?
We're going to announce all our fighters on that July event, and we're also going to announce our first 2 shows on that show,
Right.
on that date in New York.
Okay.
And a lot of fighters who we're talking to are boxing June and July, some early August. So, yeah, obviously they're going to take those fights and then either make the move or not make the move. One thing that's amazed me is the lack of promotion for these fighters. Every fighter that I talk to says the same thing. I'm not being promoted properly. I don't have a regular schedule. You know, look at some guys like world champions, unified world champions that I'm talking to. They've got like 2,000 Twitter followers. I mean, you can't define a man or a fighter by his Twitter following, but if you're a world champion or a unified world champion, it's frightening that no one knows who these people are. And it can't just be a case of, oh, there's a load of money, sign with me. I've got to show you the model, I've got to show you the plan, I've got to show you the investment that's going to go into your profile. So it's just frightening.
Did Broner come back to you?
No, he asked for a conversation after he put a thing in it. And then...
Any legs in that or not, really?
No.
What about the Charlos?
Yeah, I'm talking to the Charlos.
Jamel and Jamal.
Both, yeah. They come as a package.
Did they come as a package?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you make of Canelo and Golovkin obviously being agreed last night?
We turned down
September
2 offers
15th.
from Golden Boy for Jacobs. The first one was about 10 days ago, no, a week ago. And the second one was yesterday. And it was quite funny because...
Because you were waiting on this as well, obviously.
They made us an offer, which we turned down. That was about a week ago. Then they made us an offer 2 days ago. Then they emailed me yesterday and said, look, we need to know, do you want to take this deal or not? This was like 10 minutes after the deadline. And they said, you take this now, it's on. It's first come, first served. But the deal weren't good enough, so I turned it down.
What will happen with Daniel Jacobs next then?
Fight Derevenko,
yeah.
the IBF World title.
Yeah.
Good fight.
Will that be on your first show?
Well, he's got another fight with HBO, so that's where we'd like that fight to happen, but who knows?
Okay. Last weekend, what did you make of the return of Mr. Tyson Fury?
Exactly what I thought would happen, exactly the reason that we decided not to sign him. Because I mean, you know the stick I get. If I would have served that up, mate, this would have been the most...
But there must have been some allowance for his first fight back.
Not against that bloke, mate. Come on. You can't call yourself the lineal heavyweight champion of the world and say, I will go back in with Joshua or Wilder in my first fight and then fight Seferi, whatever his name is. But don't expect anyone better for the next few. This is the problem. And what you said, there is an element of truth to that. He did deserve an easy one. This geezer's not even a boxer, really. You see it?
It's a bit harsh. He's not even a boxer.
No, but he's not. He's a promoter. He's number 2 Albanian cruiserweight. Number 1's his brother. He was Ali shuffling. I mean, it was like... But my worry was always that Fury would do this and devalue himself in the bigger fights, making those fights even tougher to make. So when we were talking to sign him, I said, look, I understand you got amnesia. I'll give you an example. I said to him, you can fight Travis Kaufman. That was the guy I wanted him to fight in his first fight back. By the way, he won't fight anywhere at the levels of Travis Kaufman. For 4 fights, Travis Kaufman just got knocked out or beat on points at the weekend. Right? I said, you can fight Travis Kaufman, then you can fight Tony Bellew, Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua. That's my 4-fight plan. There's probably about 30 million quid there as well. But he wanted 4 fights against this level. But it's going to kill his credibility and it's going to kill his value. Is he still a talented fighter? Of course he is. He didn't look it, but is he still the same fighter? You'd think so. Incredibly well to even get back in the gym. And we talk about you and me losing weight. He was huge. I remember seeing him in Monaco. You know, what he's had to come back from and lose that weight that's hard. And he's done that. So he's on the way. But he's fighting, is he in Belfast? Let's see who he's fighting again. Be someone similar, and they ain't good.
Well, we'll see.
And he has to fight. I guess if his mindset's like that, he has to fight someone similar because he didn't learn anything or really get any value out of that fight. Do you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like he did 10 rounds and then he went, well, that was a good tough 10 rounds, now I'm ready to step up. You can't really step up if you're not ready to step up before last Saturday. You're not ready to step up now. You didn't do anything.
Ed, can we just run, before this press conference starts, run through actually why we're here?
Yes, we're here, yes. We are here because we are starting a renaissance of boxing in the Northeast. And I can't tell you, I am so excited to come to a new city. And this is actually something we're looking to do in America as well. Because you've got like New York, you've got LA, they get so much boxing. You come to Northeast, people are actually, like a geezer at the train station came to me and said, mate, thank you so much for bringing boxing back to Northeast. I cannot wait for Saturday. And we're doing it. We've got this very special young fighter called Josh Kelly, who, you know, I mean, Adam Booth, he might not be everyone's cup of tea, but he's a very good trainer. And when he came to me, yes, he is. And when he came to me and said, Ed, like, he started training him, and then after literally 1 or 2 fights, Adam starts to get very excited. He did the same thing with Ryan Burnett, and obviously look where he is now, unified world champion. And now he's doing the same thing with Josh Kelly. Interestingly, he's challenging for the Commonwealth title. And Chris Jewell, I'm so pleased about this fight because Carlos Molina was a good opponent, but Carlos Molina had lost his desire, right? Let's be honest. He was just very well schooled, very tricky, etc., etc. Chris George believes they're going to win. They say it's much too early for Josh Kelly. They might be right. I don't think it is. But this is just his 7th fight. And this is what we do at Matchroom. This kid has come out of the Olympic team at Rio. This is his 7th fight. He's already WBA Intercontinental Champion. He's fighting for the Commonwealth title. He's headlining in the Northeast in front of 8,000 people. This is what we do. This is how you build fighters. Now, let's talk about Lewis Ritson. 1 year ago today, Lewis Ritson nearly walked away from the sport of boxing. This was before he was even nominated for the British title. He hadn't boxed for 6 or 7 months. All of a sudden, he beats Robbie Barrett. Then he goes and beats Joe Murray. Then he stops Scotty Cardle. Now he's fighting Paul Highland Jr. This is good quality opposition he's fighting. Chance to win the Lonsdale belt outright. He has sold over 1,200 tickets himself in his hand. He's a Geordie hero. We're only just getting started. But don't get carried away. Don't get complacent in the ring. Don't just think you can walk through everyone, because Paul Highland Jr. can punch. And Mark Dunlop, who's here, has had 2 cracking wins on the road. He's had Zelfa Barrett get beat to
Ronnie Clark.
He's had James Tennyson beat Martin Wall, and they're here. They're going for the triple. You've got Gavin McDonnell over there against Stuart Hall, another Geordie. It's an absolutely brilliant fight. Then you've got Charlie Edwards against Anthony Nelson, who sold bundles of tickets. You've got Ricky Burns' 50th fight. You've got an unbelievable, the battery's going, isn't it? You've got an unbelievable cruiserweight fight with Valili against Iqbal, who's going to kick us off the night. This is a great, great show. We're going to have an unbelievable atmosphere on Saturday night, and I cannot wait.
Eddie Hearn, thank you very much for half hour of your time today, and we'll catch up with you really soon.
Cheers, old boy.